Hey fellow enthusiasts, this is Tommy Lanham and
I'm Tammy.
and we are on a mission to break the monotony of the mundane and the mediocre by bringing as much enthusiasm to as many marriages as we possibly can.
Here we go.
We are just weird. Our marriage is weird, our family is weird, we just do some odd things. We do not go into places of business on Sunday. Now, it's not a keeping of the Sabbath type thing. Our thought process for this, and this was not original with us, this was actually introduced to us by somebody else long before we were even married.
It was a long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, this is a commitment we made before we even got married. And the concept is this: because we value the church so much and church attendance so much, now, not just attendance for attendance sake, but being there and being with other believers, other brothers and sisters in Christ every Sunday, we just made a commitment to not go to places of business on Sundays. And the biggest reason is because we do not want that to be a reason for people not to be able to attend church. Did I say that simple enough?
It is.
You want to say that more simply?
Well, one of the things that I've always thought, my husband has been a pulpit minister for several years, and it seemed a little bit hypocritical for him to stand in the pulpit and say, you really need to go to church, you need to go to church, and church is important, and you really need to go to church and be in church and be in church. And then for him to step out of the pulpit and us to go out to lunch somewhere and expect people to wait on us.
Right.
And that, to me, that just didn't sit right with me. It's not, and I'm okay with other people that want to go out on Sundays and do their thing, but just for me and for our family, for us, it felt wrong.
The reason that we don't go into, especially restaurants, but any place of business on a Sunday is because we want that day freed up for people to be able to first of all attend worship, and then also beyond that be able to just spend some time with their family. Listen, we become so busy and things are so accessible that if we're sitting at home and we're thinking, I wish I really had this, or wish we had a movie, or wish we run out and we do that. And another thing that our Sunday commitment to not going to places of business on Sunday, not only does it help us commit to being in church on Sunday, and the more of us that do that, hint, hint, the easier it is for other people to be able to get to church on Sunday if they're not being required to work on that day. But it also kind of slows us down and helps us to focus more on just being together. Why do we have to go out and go to a restaurant on Sunday, or why do we go to a movie on Sunday, or why do we go out and do these different activities when we do that all week long?
Every day of the week is getting your kids up, getting them to school, getting to work on time, coming home, fixing dinner, getting the kids to bed on time, trying to get chores caught up, and it's kind of the same old, same old. I enjoy cooking dinner, and sometimes I do it the night before so that it's in the crock pot and I don't have to do a whole lot of work on Sunday. But I enjoy sitting down at the dinner table with my family on Sundays, and then we also do movies sometimes. We just do things that we don't have time to do.
Movies at home, not at the theater.
Yeah, movies at home. We watch movies at home. There are a couple of exceptions that we have made. If someone is in the hospital, we will go visit them on a Sunday.
Yeah.
We're not going to stay home and say, well, that's a place of business and they're making those nurses work on a Sunday. Nurses, thank you for working on Sundays. I've been in the hospital on Sundays. You've been in the hospital on a Sunday. We are very thankful for you that do work on Sundays in that case. So there are some exceptions.
And with anything, when we make commitments like this, we're doing it for the greater good, and anytime it does not serve that greater good, we make an exception, such as hospitals. If somebody falls off the porch and breaks their arm, we're not going to wait until Monday to take them to the hospital, because that would not serve the greater good. In that instance, the exception would serve the greater good in order to take whoever fell off the porch to the hospital. But in general, for us, we feel that it serves the greater good to not go into places of business on Sunday, because it helps to slow us down and focus more on our family and even more on our worship. And secondly, the more people we can get to do this, the less likely businesses are going to be open, freeing those people that work for those businesses to be able to attend church as well. At least that's the heart behind what we do.
Well, years ago, I grew up in Virginia. We had a lot of blue laws. Nothing was open on a Sunday.
Right.
No, you didn't have the option to run out and get something at the store or go out to the movies or things like that. Everything was closed on a Sunday. And that, I mean, I'm not that old. I'm 43, and that was when I was a teenager. So look where we've come in 30 years. Imagine where we'll be in another 30 years. Right. You know, and that's a big difference in a very short amount of time. But there was a reason they had those blue laws, and right. it just helped family relationships, I felt like. Right,
right. And so it just helps for us to make, or not to make, but to keep Sunday more sacred, because that is slipping further and further away, as Tammy just pointed out. And so one of the things we encourage you to do is just evaluate different things like that. You know, think through that process. We're not saying, hey, do as we do. We're just saying, think about things. Don't just do things because everybody does it. You know, well, everybody goes to restaurants on Sundays. You're right, they do. That's a great reason to evaluate that and say, okay, is this the best thing to do? And the tons of other weird things that we do, don't just accept it because that's what everybody else is doing. Now, if you evaluate that and you decide to do it anyway, great, great. But don't just mindlessly do things because everybody else is doing them. Stop, think, and evaluate, and then make the adjustments that you feel need to be made. You got anything to add to that?
That's it. Stay tuned for more weird stuff from the Lanham family. Absolutely.
And through it all, remember to feed your enthusiasm. Hey guys, if you want to become a part of the fellow enthusiast community, one of the best ways to do that is to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the button below. Go ahead, do it. I know you want to do it. Do it now.